Welcome to the weekend edition of News Tonight live on GHOne TV. I am Nadima Umar Uthman. Coming up tonight, NPP Salam Mustafa makes bold declaration. NPP will not relinquish power merely for the sake of maintaining peace. We'll get more on this at NPP's health walk ahead of manifesto launch.
The FPP will not sacrifice power on the altar of peace. We will not do it. We will not submit. We will not be cowed. We will not be intimidated. We will not be pushed. We will not stop them.
Residents in Hohoi expressed dissatisfaction over poor state of roads in the constituency. Residents living along banks of White Volta River advised to take precautionary measures as Water Resources Commission begin dam spillage for Monday, August 19. And on the international front, lawmakers in Turkey draw blood in brawl during Parliament debate on jailed colleague. We have details of these and many more making up the 60 minutes of News Tonight. Stay with us. Many thanks for tuning in once again. Remember, you can watch the bulletin across all our social media platforms at GHOne TV. Now, we begin with some political stories on your election hub. The governing NPP is aiming to win all 17 seats in the Western region in the upcoming parliamentary elections on December 7. The party has therefore put in motion several strategies to reclaim seats it lost to the opposition NDC in the 2020 elections. This was disclosed to the media by former Railways Minister and Member of Parliament for Esikado Ketan, Jogate, in an interview on the sidelines of a health walk ahead of the NPP's manifesto launch on Sunday.
After hours of waiting at the Fiji Junction for various dignitaries, including Kennedy Japan and the running mate to the flag bearer, the walk started from the Fiji Junction all the way through to the Kojokrom Junction, and then they took a turning. In all, they walked for 9 kilometers before they got to the Efia AstroTurf Park. So speaker after speaker gave a reason why the party members in the region should work hard to make sure that NPP is retained in the 2024 elections.
Samuya mistake. The opportunities ahead of us. Enunti emrantie ne mabawa muna misuframu. Temesramo. Adia President Akufo-Addo any Dr. Bawomiani NPP for a year. Mesra mama mo wurefi
ba ya ba mo aye fie mama onye de 2009 mo ba 2009 ne nya 23,000 votes na 23,000 polling stations for Ghana polling station mi na nya vote kor na ezulusu elections no so na domba de a mmeza make de wa mama dasi mpocho ye wia ye launch manifesto no bi anko na okay then onka ye juma.
The National Youth Organizer, when he took his turn to speak, sent a direct message to the NDC. He said the NPP is not going to sacrifice this election on the altar of peace. He said the MPP is ready to match the NDC boot for boot on the 7th of December.
Monday, we will quote the activities of the National Youth Organizer or say the NDC will not be a victim of peace. I'm also telling them the NPP will not sacrifice power on the altar of peace. We will not do it. We will not submit. We will not be cowed. We will not be intimidated. We will not be pushed. We are going to get them.
After every speaker had spoken, it was now time for the running mate to the flag bearer, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, to speak. And he took time to fire shots at the former president who is seeking to return.
Danado, on fire, Nipa Bian Santa, also Dr. Bomia Juma Meboa. Danado Casa, Dr. Bomia, Kokwana, Meboa. And Dr. Bomia Onya corrupt. Dr. Bomia Onya Basica. Dr. Bomia Onya Ghana 419. Nanso so Mampanyi bi yebusa ne say oya corrupt na o say me Mampanyi ana me obia ensheki obia trinyo obia shi wo Ghana ha ye wo opposition kwa mo ti be awurawura ne wa bam.
He likened the Ghanaian to the Israelites.
Ghana for who say Israel for just one thing. Yakubu jaye kakra bia ne ekobun sanfo Yakubu jaye kakra bia o ma etimi eda na Ghana ye de na Ghana e kara ha no mu rafi no ma sa akobun sanfo na se de minionum kan no adwuma pezekofo be ye no na kanisa Ghana for to abetia MPP bio.
For GHOne News, Musa Lansa.
Those were excerpts from the NPP's health walk in the Western region. Let's now bring you the earlier clip from Joe Gate on NPP's plan on reclaiming all 17 seats in the Western region.
We are targeting every single constituency in the region. We've started working hard. We are going around, we know what we are doing. We are going to win the constituencies cleanly. I will not tell you our full strategy. What you see is only the tip of the iceberg. When you see an iceberg, there is more under the water than top of the water. But now what we have done over the past few months has started bearing fruit. You yourself can see the crowds. You can see the unity. Today we are in the Fair constituency. Lord Obama is here, Honorable Kujo is here. The only way that MPP will lose this election is if it does not unite. We are more than NDC. We are working harder than NDC. We have a better record than NDC. The only way that we will lose this election is if we don't unite. So I'm using this opportunity to tell all MPP people that the elephant is the winning symbol. The people, the voice of the people, the voice of God. Dr. Baumia has been chosen as our leader. It's a done deal. He has chosen Apo. We have voted for parliamentary candidates. Whether you won or you didn't win, you follow the person who has won. Today is the person's turn. Tomorrow it may be your turn.
Let's get more on this health walk and join our man in the Western region, Musa Lansa, who give us more updates on happenings on the NPP's health walk. Musa, we've heard a lot of explosive speeches during this NPP health walk ahead of the manifesto. How have residents been receiving these speeches?
Well, Nadima, it's an exciting thing. The health walk was for 5 constituencies in the Western region.
We're talking of Efia Kuma, Kwesimentim, Tekandi, Takrade, and then the Esigato Kitan constituency. And when you hear the people's arguments, they say that the NPP has done a lot for the region and the country as a whole, and for that matter, they should be given the opportunity to do the next 4 years to ensure that what Nana Akufo-Addo has started, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and then Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh will continue. And so it has been testimony after testimony, people telling us that this time round they are going to put aside their differences, the challenges they've had with the party, and then go ahead to campaign for them. There was a man of God who said he was very angry with the party because he felt they did not care about men of God. But now, after meeting the running mate to the flag bearer, he's made up his mind to go back and speak to his people to come out to campaign strongly for the MPP. Now, preparations are underway for the manifesto launch tomorrow. And as we speak, we are currently at the Ghana Secondary Technical School here in Takoradi, where the auditorium of the school will be used for the manifesto launch. Several people have come into the region. The flag bearer is expected to arrive this evening, and then President Nana Akufo-Addo is also expected to arrive tomorrow to make the launch of the manifesto a very beautiful one. So many things will happen. What we understand is that the Deputy General Secretary will be briefing the media at 8 p.m. tonight to tell us what exactly will happen tomorrow, and also issue out accreditation to the media houses that are here for the coverage of the manifesto launch. Nadima.
Right. Musa, before you give us more on the preparations ahead of the manifesto launch tomorrow, I mean, Joe Gate made very bold statements or ambitious statements about the NPP's plan to reclaim the 17 seats. Exactly how do they plan on doing this?
So if you recall, in 2020, the fight against illegal mining was a big issue in the 2020 electioneering campaign. And this time round, if you follow the conversations in the Western region, illegal mining has not really come up strongly. It only has to do with issues of their roads. Some of the constituencies are very terrible roads, and so the party or the government now is working to improve on these roads. And so the party is campaigning strongly on the strengths of the party in terms of providing infrastructure. And also, if you look at the primaries of the governing party, some of the incumbents lost. The MP for Umar, for instance, who is the Minister for State-Owned Enterprises, lost his bid to return to Parliament to a new person. And so it's going to see the party get more votes in some of these constituencies that they have changed some of their parliamentary candidates. And as I told you earlier, the illegal mining conversation is not so pronounced this time round. It just has to do with the campaign on free SHS and some of the positive things the government has done for the region and then the nation as a whole. So those are some of the things they are looking at to capitalize on to win the 17 constituencies in this region in the elections that's coming on the 7th of December.
One of the key speeches that is currently trending on social media and generating a lot of talking points is Salam Mustafa's speech. There's been a lot of talk about peace ahead of the December polls, and then he comes out to say that the NPP is not ready to relinquish power despite their advocacy, or despite the fact that they want to maintain peace. What was the reaction like when he gave that speech?
Well, usually when you come for such rallies, such speeches come with applauses. They are accompanied with applauses from the party supporters who are there. They are energized for the campaigns. And if you observe the past few weeks, you've heard the two parties going back and forth as to the signing of a peace pact ahead of the elections. And so I spoke to one of the youth working committee members, and he was telling me it's not directly about destabilizing or forcefully trying to take over power even if they lose. They are going to work as a youth wing to make sure that they win the elections hands down, and the NDC will not do anything untoward to create any problems for the nation. So it's not literal as in making sure that they retain power even if they lose, but to make sure that the youth wing works assiduously to make sure the party wins in the December elections. Nadima.
Right, grateful for those updates. I trust that you bring us more at 8 p.m. when that presser is finally held on the preparations ahead of the NPP manifesto launch in the Western region. That was my colleague Musa Lanta. But let's stay a while longer on this topic. You heard earlier the NPP's National Youth Organizer Salam Mustafa, who made a very interesting speech at the Health Walk. He said that while the NPP values peace, they are not willing to relinquish power merely for the sake of maintaining peace. We know there's been a lot of talk of maintaining peace ahead of the December polls, and so we'll be exploring this statement a while longer. I'll be doing that with Dr. Frederick Odro, who is a governance expert. Dr. Odro, many thanks for joining us this evening. What were your initial thoughts when you heard the speech from Salam Mustafa?
Well, another clanger that a politician who doesn't know what to say thinks he can say. The fact of the matter is that what most of these people don't understand is that when it comes to democracy, it operates on the principle of rule of law. And if you have violence, it means there's an absence of law. And I ask myself, if somebody says I will not sacrifice the election on the altar of peace, what do they mean? I mean, does he even understand what he's saying himself? Does he understand the implication of what he says? And the point is that some people think they are galvanizing their base. So once they are on campaign platform, they have the right to say whatever they have to say. But it is not true. Because even within their own party, there are people who would do anything for peace, assuming that even some of the people who were there would be clapping for him. Many more of his own party supporters will find this unacceptable for anybody to say that. What was the basis of the NPP coming into power? The NDC was in power, and the NPP won in a fair and square election. And the NDC had no choice but to hand over peacefully. In the same vein, should the NPP be voted out of power, it have no choice, hand over. So if you say you will not sacrifice the election on the altar of peace, what is his understanding of that? Perhaps he doesn't understand the words he used. So we could forgive him if that were so. And it is most unacceptable, and it should be condemned. Such words don't augur well for rule of law. And that is what we must all seek to protect.
Right.
If there is law, we will do things according to the way they should be done. It doesn't matter if you lose an election, you've lost. You have no choice, you hand over. If you think something untoward has been done, you go to court. That is why we operate a democracy within the confines of the principles of rule of law. So such people do not even understand the system they pretend to be part of.
Dr. Odro, I mean, this is not typical of the NPP. We've heard similar remarks from the camp of the NDC as well. How should this be handled moving forward? Because it seems both parties are not ready to listen to calls for them to use more peaceful language when it comes to this campaign ahead of the December polls. What should be done, really?
You see, let's get something straight here. The country Ghana does not belong to any political party. The country Ghana belongs to the 33 or so million Ghanaians. We are all stakeholders. The fact that somebody chooses to be a part of a political party does not make that person a greater stakeholder than the rest of us. And what is wrong is wrong. It should be condemned. I do not see.
But Dr. Odro, it seems the condemnation. Dr. Odro, it seems the condemnation is not doing much because they will be going further into this campaign, and we are likely to hear more of these explosive comments.
The fact of the matter is that the political parties are not the people who must preserve the peace. We do have security agencies, and we should support them to do what is right by the country. That is, if anybody uses incendiary language, that person must be prosecuted. And if anybody chooses to use the fear of violence, intimidate people to vote for them, they should rather be punished. That Ghanaians, no matter what, do not believe in violence. And that we will not vote for politicians who choose to use the threat of violence to win elections. Because we've long gone past that.
Right.
I mean, in a normal elections, for a few miscreants who decide to take the laws into their hands, I'm not saying some people may not be cheated. Somebody may go to a polling station with the intention of, stealing the ballot. We do have effective systems for dealing with this. So if the politicians themselves do not understand that they can choose the rule of law to redress certain violence, always come out to say they are going to cheat us, they are cheating us, and people will go out there and lose their lives, and in the end, they cannot get what they want. What is the essence of that?
Right, finally, Dr. Odro, should the ordinary Ghanaian or members or supporters of these political parties take some of the blame? Because you just heard our reporter Musa Lansa saying that these comments are usually, because they are galvanizing the grassroots, they are usually met with applause. And so it seems the ordinary Ghanaian is just not seeing just how serious these remarks are.
No, on the contrary, I don't think it succeeds in galvanizing their base. It only succeeds in galvanizing a motley of a few young
right, unfortunately, we seem to have Dr. Frederick Odro. We seem to have lost Dr. Frederick Odro, but he is a governance expert giving us his thoughts on the comments made by Salam Mustafa at the NPP's health walk ahead of the manifesto launch tomorrow. But do let us know what you also think about some of these speeches that have been made at the various political parties' rallies so far. And some more In some more news this evening, as the 2024 general elections approach, the state of road infrastructure remains a pressing concern in the GHOne constituency of the Volta region, where the NPP won the parliamentary seats for the first time in 2020. Residents are voicing their frustration over the deplorable roads. Our correspondent Faisal Abdul-Idrisu has more in the following report.
Despite government's declaration of its commitment towards expanding and improving the country's road infrastructure between 2020 and 2022, little progress has been made in the Volta region. Residents in the GHOne constituency expressed their disappointment, citing the lack of significant changes since the last elections.
The road is not good at all, and it caused accidents on the road. So we are doing it, we devote ourselves to do this for our community. Even our children, even the place that they will pass, that place that the car is passing, and the road is not good at all. So we are suffering in our town here. Our MP is not solving our problem. We have more problem in the town. We, the youth, we are suffering. The road is not good. Unemployment, we don't have any job in this town. So we are suffering.
Yetimu sakran ka yepe ya de dada nka ye namu ye na kwan na ye nam no ye ma ye de dada so aba so oba be ye kwan a what the problem na aba be tu ye so an so time kwala ntimi ko school wan kasa ntimi ko so no akwa adwuma
e ma pete gbelemenyo
the road is so bad and dusty. We are selling here at the roadside and it is not easy for us. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed in GHOne. As for the roads, it's very important for us. Nothing has changed. In December, we will know how to vote. The one that will bring development is what we want. Drivers plying the major roads leading to GHOne lament the negative impact on their vehicles. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. The only thing they did was the street lights they fixed last year on our street here in GHOne. Even the Fodoma road they didn't last. In about 2 weeks, the road went bad again. Nothing has changed. Our vehicles are badly damaged. As for the roads, it's a headache for us. The road is so bad, it gets even worse when it rains, and as a passenger, you would not want to join our vehicle. You can enter a deep pothole and the next minute even collide with an oncoming vehicle. We are appealing to authorities to do something about the road for us. We are suffering. The other day, DVLA officials were on the road checking our vehicles. But you buy this today, it gets spoiled. The next minute, the next one gets spoiled. If the road is good, we'll all be safe. The passengers will also be safe. During a recent tour of the Volta region, Minister for Roads and Highways, Francis Asenso-Boachi, acknowledged the poor state of the GHOne roads and promised decisive action.
If the GHOne constituency has seen any development since 2020, it's certainly not on the major roads leading to the town. Even the Fodoma to GHOne road, which was done prior to the 2020 election, has become considerably unmotorable. The other road from Gulukwati to GHOne is also in a bad shape. That of the Jasikan, KJB towards Nkwanta is equally in a bad shape. But all of this will be part of the conversations leading into the December 7th elections. Reporting here from GHOne and for GHOne News, my name is Faisal Abdul Idrisu.
The debate over legalizing and regulating Okada in Ghana remains a heated issue, with political promises shaping the future of this informal sector. The National Executive of the Okada Association say the current NPP administration has neglected their sector, and if nothing significant is introduced soon, they will vote against the government.
For years, Okada riders have navigated the busy streets of Ghana, providing essential transport services to millions. Yet, their industry remains largely unregulated, their livelihood subject to political whims and policy shifts. In 2019, a promise by former President John Dramani Mahama ignited hope among the riders, a promise to legalize and regulate their operations.
Your manifesto mu ye trogu ho pefe se nyame adoma ye ba ye be legalize Okada se ye swai e wo independence square wi a na mo se mo fa hodie enso aba.
That promise resonated deeply with the Okada community, who had long felt overlooked by the ruling government. According to representatives of the operators, it was this pledge that gave them a voice in the national conversation, finally attracting media attention to their plight.
That is why, in fact, after 2019, we didn't sit down. We were working. Some of us had opportunity, the leadership like this.
As election seasons draw near, Okada operators say they feel increasingly ignored by the current government's policies. They argue that replacing motorbikes with cars, as proposed by the current administration, does not address their core challenges.
It is not means of transport that is the problem. A lot of Ghanaians prefer our service than using the car and other things. So the car is not the option.
Beyond promises, Okada leaders acknowledge the efforts of key public figures like IGP Dr. George Ekufu-Dampare, who they commend for his approach to security and engagement with their community. They believe that meaningful collaboration, coupled with strategic regulation, is what the industry needs.
And we always salute Dr. Dampare for what he's doing for us as riders.
As the Okada operators look to the future, they are placing their hopes on a system that not only legalizes their operations, but also offers training, safety measures, and formal recognition.
We don't even know how we get our license, but this is the government that is bringing a system that will regulate all these things and put all of us in a very good platform.
They are clear. The current government has had its chances, and if no significant changes come, they know where their votes will go.
We will all support His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, even though we are still waiting. Maybe the government of the day have a lot of chances if they can do any change.
For these operators, The upcoming election isn't just about promises. It's about who will turn those promises into action. And as the days count down, their message is clear. They will back the candidate who backs them. Peter Kwao Adatos report for GHOne News.
And some more stories on your election hub. The Ochehene Osajifo Amoitio Foripinging has urged tolerance among supporters of the various political parties ahead of the December polls, emphasizing that elections are not the ultimate determinant of Ghana's future. He made these remarks amid concerns raised by the opposition NDC's refusal to sign any peace declaration ahead of the election, citing unresolved killings in the 2020 elections. Speaking at a deba organized by the NIFA division of Achim Ebuakwa in Isiakwa in honor of his 25th installment anniversary, the Osajifo Amoitia Foripinging encouraged citizens to vote for candidates they believe can improve their standard of living and to remain patient while awaiting results, adding that supporters of the various political parties should remain tolerant as Ghana gears up for the December polls.
From 92, Ghana and Mutuye. We are sure that we should, as a BNC, Tuaba, Tumani, August of Utuya, Robo Trafi, one train. You really have a muscle, now the Gunima, what do you see? Now did you?
He also reiterated the negative impact Kalamse has had on lands in the area, calling on all school-going pupils in Ibuakwa to plant more trees. So watching news tonight on GHOne TV. That's it for your election hub. You're welcome back to News Tonight live on GHOne TV with me, Nadima, Umar, Uthman. To one of our headline stories, the Water Resources Commission has announced plans to spill water from the Bagui Dam for Monday, August 19. This spillage is likely to cause the White Volta River to overflow its banks and occupy its normal floodplains. Residents along the banks of the White Volta River are advised to take precautionary measures to avoid being adversely impacted. It's on this latest development, the spillage of the Bagui Dam, which is expected to begin on Monday. Good evening and many thanks for joining us, Mr. Asmini. What mechanisms are you putting in place? Because the date on the release was yesterday, and this spillage is expected to begin on Monday. Isn't it a bit short notice for residents to take precautionary measures?
Well, not exactly, because this thing has always been every year around occurring. So the people are already aware of it. Yesterday when we got the information, we got our volunteers and our zonal coordinators to get along the river banks to advise farmers to get out, keep shepherds away from the river banks. And then we have also gone down districts that are along the river banks, like Kaliki, Navadam, Zebila, Pusika, and all that, to inform the chiefs and people to this thing. Unfortunately, every NADMO director, rather district of origin, is on the red tech and the south tech committees. So all the security apparatus are all involved. They are alert. Currently, the other coordinators are among the major persons to advise people who are traveling across, use the approved bridges to go across. The water level right now has risen. We don't know whether it was going to be spilled, but the water levels have certainly increased. And we're hoping that Monday, if they officially spill the water, more often it takes 72 hours to travel to the Ghanaian shops. We can start experiencing the spillage around Wednesday and Thursday on the Ghana shops.
But aside the sensitization efforts that you mentioned, I know residents have also been advised, those who are along the banks, to move upstream. Have there been any accommodations made for them?
Yes, normally we use, you see, the hospitality and the northern system will say that more often they stay with neighbors. We don't really have accommodation created to house potential victims. What they do is that we have the schools around, the churches, the mosques, the neighbors. So this thing, it has been happening almost every year. So they already know when it strikes where they will go. So as part of that, I think the people are aware and they are prepared for whatever.
But have you been able to measure the spillage that this, the impact of the spillage that this would have?
In fact, from our readings under certain bridges, water has risen. The impact is not yet known because the real spillage has not been done. What we are experiencing along the rivers now is possible that heavy rains. About 3 days today, it has been heavy and raining heavy. So we don't suspect that the amount of water that are in among the river forces now,
right,
coming from the average spillage.
Okay. All right. Thank you for those updates. Jerry Asmini is the Upper East Regional NADMO Director, giving us updates on the Bagri Dam spillage, which will begin on Monday or from Monday, August 19. And some more stories in the heart of Kitikrachi, where the future of healthcare is being shaped. A college struggles against overwhelming odds. The Nurse and Midwifery Training College is at the crossroads, facing challenges that threaten its mission to train the next generation of lifesavers. Peter Kwadato explores the persistent struggles of these institutions and voices demanding urgent change.
Education is the foundation of progress, but at Kitikrachi's Nursing and Midwifery Training College, inadequate resources are crippling the students' pursuit of knowledge. The college has been split across 2 campuses, hampering growth and unity among staff and students. Most students study at the new GHOne campus, which has some lecture halls. However, the administration remains at the old location due to a lack of infrastructure, creating logistical challenges. The grounding of the college's only bus has further compounded the already dire situation. The remaining vehicle, a pickup, barely survives any journey out of Krachi, often breaking down multiple times en route. Hostel facilities at the new site are severely lacking, forcing the school to rely on private accommodations, which disrupt student educational experiences.
You can just be learning, the lights go off. Examination week, revision week, they can just take the light. 3 days, no light. The school has to come in for us with generator before we'll be able to study and prepare for our exam.
The college struggles to house new students each year, with the final year students vacating their hostels to make room for incoming freshers, a temporary fix that underscores the ongoing crisis. Sources close to the college indicate that the administration may be forced to withhold admissions this academic year if the hostel issue remains unresolved. Construction of the main hostel at the new site has been stalled. A Get Fund funded hostel project initiated in 2016 was also abandoned in 2017, leaving the college grappling with insufficiency that hinder both learning and living conditions.
Sometimes you be going to class, you see a scorpion or a snake on the floor, which is very bad.
The shortage of tutors further exacerbates the situation. During the 2022-2023 academic year, only 1 of 10 required tutors was assigned to the college, leaving others to shoulder the burden of teaching 3 different courses.
Tutors have to convey themselves from there to this place. We don't have enough cars to be transporting them. So sometimes it delay, maybe we those who are here and our tutor is supposed to teach there and come back here.
This strain impacts the quality of education and the well-being of the staff, particularly in critical areas like midwifery, where expertise can mean the difference between life and death.
Sometimes they ask their course reps to take us through.
It is very stressful. So we need more tutors to help us so that we can also be like others in big schools.
The government-approved feeding fee of 1,800 cedis per semester is also insufficient, leaving college managers struggling to provide adequate food amid rising prices and tight budgets.
So sometimes it delays the time we feed when it comes to lunch, going back to class after break and all that.
With timely support and decisive action, the Nurse and Midwifery Training College at Kitikrachi can overcome these challenges, ensuring its graduates are fully equipped to lead and heal communities throughout Ghana and beyond. Peter Kwao Adatos reports for GHOne News.
Let's bring you business now. The ongoing economic crisis has had severe impacts, particularly on small business owners who are struggling with rising costs, unpredictable electricity bills, and soaring taxes. These resilient entrepreneurs who help keep communities afloat now find it nearly impossible to break even. In this piece, Peter Kwao tells the story of the Cold Store, where one entrepreneur shares how these economic pressures are suffocating dreams and livelihood.
For over a decade, this market has been the lifeline for Bright Zotoglu and many others like him. What started as a promising venture back in 2005 has turned into a daily struggle for survival. Bright relocated to Dambai here in 2013 with 6 permanent staff, keeping a good profit margin.
When we don't have any profit again, with the prices too, these days here, it's too much. So if the government can do something about the taxes and so that the dollar can come down small, so that business can move, I hope we will appreciate it.
Like many small business owners, Bright relies heavily on electricity to keep his operation running. Yet, the ever-fluctuating and exorbitant light bills are slowly crushing his ability to sustain his business.
Sometimes domestic, not commercial, the bill is too much. So when you come to the commercial, it's worse. That's why now we can't do anything. Everything is expensive. Now when you after you sell finish, paying your light bill or workers, no money in the conference again.
For Bright, importing most of his products, including cow leg and willy, has become necessary. However, with soaring import costs and a volatile exchange rate, keeping prices reasonable for his customers is a daily battle.
I import all the goods except tilapia, cow legs, everything they exported is. Because one of the demand is higher, those people can never supply us.
The weight of taxes, coupled with inflation and economic instability, has left businesses like Bright's on the brink. Yet, these entrepreneurs remain resilient, hoping for a change that seems distant.
We are in business, and we have customers that surprise some of the goods. After you sell finish, you just send their money and they will give you goods. Now what you save there now?
In the face of uncertainty, Ghana's small business owners press on, fueled by resilience and hope that the burden will be lifted someday.
All levies are taxes are on the light bill we are paying. So it happens like that. It worries us, the businessmen like this, it worries us much. So if government can do something about the taxes, because when the taxes is high, everything is high. When the dollar is high, everything is high. I always like that the thing should be short for everybody.
But until then, the struggle continues. Peter Kwao Adatos report for GHOne News.
That's it for business. Let's do sports now. Arts and entertainment came alive at the third edition of the Osu Duku Festival. The festival, according to organizers, is aimed at celebrating cultural diversity, promote health and fitness, and foster community unity in Osu, with a call for the feuding factions of the Osu Stool to smoke the peace pipe.
Of covering the hair of women. Duku, according to founder of the street festival, represents the rich heritage and diverse cultural expressions of the people of Osu, meant to unite feuding factions of the Osu traditional stool.
You see, we men put on this Duku in a Ghanaian setup. Men don't wear Duku on the scarf, but we brought this as an innovation. You need 10 fingers and your 2 hands to tie the duku. That is the reason and the brain behind this duku. Without me, we are not there. Without you, I'm also not there. So we need each other, collaboration. So the slogan for the Duku Festival is Duku O Duku.
Thousands of residents of Osu and tourists from far and near showed up to witness the street festival. Featured exciting painting artistry, local food and drinks, and many other exciting activities. One of the many artists who participated in the street festival and tells us his paintings narrate stories of the Osu people. He also wants parents to encourage their children to venture into artistry.
When it comes to art, we are like a journalist, because we refine issues. We make sure that societal issue, we make sure that we modify it, and then we are like a voice to the people. We are like a voice to the people. So we bring it into images to explain, so that sometimes people have depressions and issues. So through our artworks, we try to change the mindset of
Let's now bring you news from the foreign front. A brawl broke among Turkish lawmakers on Friday during a heated debate over an opposition delegate currently in prison on what are widely considered to be politically motivated charges. Is released by a lawmaker showed Ahmed Sik, a representative from the same party as the jailed deputy, being attacked by a lawmaker from President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's ruling party while speaking on the chamber's podium. Sik had just called members of the ruling party, and I quote, a terrorist organization. In a subsequent scuffle involving dozens of deputies, a female lawmaker was struck, leaving drops of blood on steps leading the speaker's lantern. Another opposition member was also reportedly injured. The extraordinary session of the Grand National Assembly was called to debate the case of Khan Atale, who was elected from prison as a parliamentary deputy for the Workers' Party of Turkey in last year's election. It was not immediately clear when the parliamentary session would resume. That's how we wrap up news tonight on GHOne TV. I am Nadima Umar Uthman. Log on to starfm.com.gh for more news. Good evening.